Hi, my name is Sally Barnard, an artist, author, and spiritual experiencer. Welcome to Call Me Zena, a true story into the spiritual realms. Join me as I sit and discuss the journey of self-discovery and awakening with the help of my spirit guides. It's time to trust your intuition. This is your inner knowings. Through questions and points of conversation, I can help others feel empowered. With the ability to touch people's past lives, I help others connect and not feel alone. Sit with me and call in live, 888-994-4995. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm happy that you're all listening to me, and my show is about to start, but I do want to say something to you first, and I don't often mention this. I am actually in some kind of a trance. You don't see me doing all the things that would show you that, but because I'm mentioning this, I have some meetups coming up, and I'm going to get Dawn to actually explain it to you, because once I'm in this zone, I can answer your questions, but it's very hard for me to actually say my email and the telephone number, as you guys have probably figured out. So Dawn, I'm going to turn it over to you for a second. Just explain the meetups, if you would. Thank you.
We created a meetup it's called Boca Raton Spirituality Past Life Meetup Group. And it's a group right now of over 20 members. We just opened this up to invite everybody to events here at the studio to watch live recordings, live streaming shows of Call Me Zena. It gives people an opportunity to ask questions, whether it be psychic, past lives, aliens, all the things that Sally talks about and her inner knowing, as she calls it. So check out Meetup, join the group. It is free to join. All our events right here are free at the studio as well. And they occur on Mondays at 2 o'clock. So check it out.
Thank you. And I'd open my questions, please, if there's anyone in the studio that'd like to ask me something. I'm here.
It's interesting, Sally. We just came off the cafe show talking about angels and aliens, and all of them being extraterrestrial versus being angels or aliens. Does that resonate with you?
It absolutely does. It's one of the same. When we talk about angels and we talk about extra, they are coming from somewhere else. So I feel that everything that we're talking about when we talk about this subject is off planet. This is something that I have experienced, that people that have been following my show, I've suddenly realized how much I was actually transported to many different places, but it was through people that have come here to contact me, that are off the planet, that have taken me there. I know even for me this sounded a little strange, but I'm beginning to understand more. So any questions that are kind of talking about people that may be aliens or off planet, angels, it's all one of the same as far as I can tell you. This is what I'm figuring out myself. I'm still in the process of figuring this whole thing out, but it's beginning to make more sense to me today. So any questions on that, I would love to open up to the studio here, because it's a subject very dear to me, because I'm beginning to understand more of this. It's taken me many years. I was taken to many different places over the last 18 years. I wasn't fully aware what was happening to me. And if you've been following my show, I thought I was just astral projecting, which is very well documented. The alien part was very different to me, but the more I was understanding, and I'm meeting people, you've seen Russ, who is on my show, who has a show here on aliens, I'm beginning to understand more. So I'd like to open this up to you, if you have any questions for me.
Sally, you have seen more and more people come into studio, and more coincidences, for lack of a better word, has occurred. Do you see more and more needs, different type of needs, from all of them that come forward, including yesterday you were holding court? Do
Yes.
you see the needs have changed?
I absolutely do. And as you know, I often talk about the law of attraction, and I feel that we have a meeting place here, Freddie. And since you are, running the Brooklyn Cafe, I think you're beginning to see that too. I'm not saying that I'm the one that's bringing them all in, but through like a vibrational energy. For me, even, it's very exciting to me to see all these people that I'm actually coming in when I'm here, and even when I'm not here. It's a vibrational energy that goes out, and it goes beyond what we really understand. And I feel that I'm putting that energy, as you are too, both you and Dawn are putting that energy out. It's not just me, it's a group. Actually, it's a group thing that we're doing, but we're bringing more and more people. We're attracting them here to the cafe. I mean, I don't know from last year before I was here, I've been here quite a few months now, how this worked, but I feel over the months that I have been with you here that more and more people are coming in that are very, very spiritual. This is not coincidental. We're bringing them in. As I'm saying this, I'm feeling the goosebumps over me, which people who know me know that that's my validation.
So have you learned more of all the different souls that are coming forward? Have there been clearer messages just as to what your message is right now?
Well, I feel right now, I mean, I can answer many different things because I have been lucky enough to tune into the energies of a lot of different people. But for right now, I feel that the energy that I'm getting is more off this planet from aliens. But we just had a discussion a little while ago, about an hour ago, about aliens, angels, or extraterrestrial people that are coming here. It's one of the same. If we talk about angels, I feel they're coming from a different planet. It's hard for me to actually explain this, and people think of aliens and angels as two different things. I believe it's of the same, actually of the same. And the more that I talk about this, I feel that the vibrational energy will bring more people in to even explain what I'm talking about into your cafe. I feel that I'm just calling them in here. It might be something that, you know, it sounds crazy, and I realize that today, but we're getting validation of that. Every time I'm here, somebody comes in that seems to understand this. Now, I didn't know you a year ago, but do you feel, and I'd like to ask you this question, that more people are coming in since I've been here?
Absolutely.
Okay.
This is why I'm trying to figure out what all these pieces mean. Like yesterday we had 2 new pieces. We have more scheduled, more people. The phones have picked up. Now normally during the summer months things have slowed down, usually. Not this year. It's just the opposite. But it seems to be the same theme. What's connecting everybody seems to be this whole spiritual meaning as to finding a better way, looking for better ways, cooperating with one another differently. So I was picking your brain because they're coming at all different ages and different backgrounds.
Yes, yes. No, I feel that. I mean, it's not just when I leave here. I'm absolutely certain that when I come back, it doesn't matter what mood I'm in. It doesn't matter. We're all human when we have different moods. I feel I've come home when I'm in this cafe with you guys. And I'm getting validation with the people that are coming in. If you want to call it spirituality, they seem to understand what I'm talking about. It's not everybody, and I understand that too, but the people that are giving their messages, sometimes they can relate to what I'm saying, or I'm able to talk to the people that needed to hear what I have to say. I mean, this has been ongoing now for the last 7 or 8 months, actually. And this, I believe, is not coincidental. We have a meeting place here, and I feel very comfortable to say that. So I feel that this is just the beginning of a journey that is just starting. I feel this very strongly.
People are feeling more and more confident, more trust. They are opening up. I noticed yesterday, people were telling you some very deep and intimate details of their life. Has that changed recently? Has not only here, but in general, are people coming up to you to ask certain questions about their personal life?
Yes, absolutely. And I feel that, you know, I'm only an instrument and I give the messages from what I hear. But what I feel very strongly about is that we're drawing the right people in here at their point in their life to give the answers to them that is very relevant for their situation. I don't know a lot of the people that are coming in, but for some reason they do thank me. I'm just an instrument. I'm just here, as they say, as a messenger. But they're using me right now to bring the people in that need the answers. And it seems to be a lot of these answers are off planet. From what I have learned over the many years that I've been doing this, through my guide that was telling me, I'm very surprised, even myself, because what he told me, not too many people even know this, but I'm meeting people here that are beginning to understand what I'm talking about. And that gives me so much pleasure to know that I'm actually passing this on. It's not just me. I mean, I'm not special, and I often say that. Everybody has what I'm talking about. We just don't know that we have this. There is so much to learn from this.
Why do you think they're all coming now? I call it the portal.
It is, and I love the fact that you said that, Dawn. It actually is. You know, it takes me. I mean, you know, we're living in this world, and it sometimes takes me a little while to get into, as we would say, the zone. I am totally there now. I wasn't when we first started this. I mean, I'm still here. I'm still a human being. But it takes me a few seconds to go into this zone, and I love it. People don't realize that I'm in a trance, but I do want to say that I am. That's why I got you to explain about the meetup. But I'm being guided to give this information, and it doesn't just stop here. It's going out into the airways, and that's something to explain what I'm actually hearing. It's something that I'm hearing. It's like we tune in. That's all I'm doing. But I'm actually tuning into another dimension. And it's coming into the cafe here. And we're doing the same thing here on Earth. We're bringing the people, and this is coming to me, and I'm totally channeling this. We're bringing the people in that need to hear this message, and it will continue. And I just, please, if you're listening to this show or you listen to the recording of this, please talk to people that may be interested to tune in, because this works, but we need more people, and I'm putting that out there, and we will get the people, and this will be very, very important later on.
What do you think the message is? Why do you think your calling is so important? What do people need?
Well, I feel, again, I just want to say, and you know that I try to be devoid of any ego, but I feel that the message that I'm giving is really important for the people that are beginning, as I call it, to wake up to this. And there are more and more people. It's very important now to wake up to not just my message, but to anybody else that's giving this type of message that I'm giving. Because the more we wake up, and the more that we see, we're in trouble here. Again, my message is always positive, but I do want to say that this planet is in trouble. And I love actually that there are certain people on your show here that will talk about that, especially Frank, and I want to give him some recognition here. He sees what's happening. And we have, if you want to say, a kind of obligation to present this, because we can, and I'm going to make this positive, we can change this. We can change it by our, and again, I do want to say that I am in a trance, and I don't often mention this, but we have the ability to change this to make it positive. So what is going on now, it's not good. You turn on the news, we hear all these shootings. This is not good. This is not what we're meant to be doing. But we can, and I want to tell you this, we can change it. Change your thoughts, change your process. I try not to listen to the news, but then again, I have to ground myself and see what's happening. But it's really important that we put positive vibrational energy out there. We seem to be attracting them here in the cafe. We will do this. One step at a time, little by little, as my guide Alda used to say, little by little. Let's start, let's recognize that. Let's bring some people in here that have a positive message, and we will continue to do this.
Now, with the new moon that has just come in as well, do you have any insight on like what that's going to bring, or anything in particular on what this new moon is?
Well, again, I'm going to say something that I'm not too familiar with astrology.
Okay.
I understand a lot, and I get my messages, but I do believe in astrology, and I think it's very important. But what the first thing that comes to my mind, and thank you for that question because I need to answer that, is that we have a new beginning. Okay, it's a new beginning, but it's up to us to make that change. We can continue on this road of turn on the news. It's not pleasant, but let's give positive thoughts to this. And I think that's a new beginning with the new moon starting right now.
Beautiful. Thank you.
How do we get more people, Sally, to become aware of positivity?
Well, I mean, I don't want to give myself too much credit, but hopefully people that are listening to my show, I need to tell you that to be, and it's a theme that goes through with every single show that I have, to show this positivity. Don't feed into a lot of the negativity. I can't tell our viewers to listen, not to listen to the news, but try to see that what is happening, and in my belief system, is purely, and I don't expect everybody to believe this, but it's a game that we're playing. So if we continue on this road to see that, maybe know that we can change this. That's very important. Just know that we can change this negativity if we think positive thoughts. And that has been my message throughout, and I'm saying it even more today because it's so very needed.
To change to the positivity.
Yes, absolutely.
And people are going through some hard times. And I should really just ask you about the studio. The bigger the portal gets, you keep talking about expansion.
Mm-hmm.
Up, out, what are you saying?
Well, we actually here in the cafe here, I can't tell you that we're in a portal, but what we are doing, as far as I can tell with all my messages we are sending vibrational energy out there, Dawn. And the more we send, and the more that I show, I talk about it on my show, is very important. I have a show once a week, as you know, on a Monday. If more people can tune in, if they get nothing else at this point, to just maybe not understand everything I'm saying, but to think positive. This is so important, to put this positivity out there into the world, because if we're not, and I don't want to scare people, we are going to be in trouble, okay? We need to put this positive energy out there. For anybody that's listening now, please tell your friends, because yes, I'm here to expand what we have here in the Brooklyn Cafe. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to have my show. It's very important.
Now, you were in studio recently, and you gave somebody a message that something bad that actually happened was the better of two outcomes. You don't often give negative information. Was that something that came to you from your collective?
Yes, and you're right. I don't like to give negativity, because negativity feeds on more energy that is going to become negative. But sometimes it's important to give a message to someone. We do it in a way, and I've been told this from my guide Aldo, who is still with me, although he has passed, but he's certainly with me right now. We do it if you can give negativity in a positive way, this is the way that we should do. We need to tell somebody if something is happening, but we don't want to scare that person, because if we do, more negativity happens. But we need to give a message that especially for myself, sometimes I'm saying, should I tell this person? But I feel I should. But when I say that, I feel that I can warn them, so to speak, so that they won't continue on that negative path. Maybe, and I often use as a car as an example, when we're driving in the wrong direction that is going to lead us to somewhere, I'd say, listen, and let's go in a different direction. I'm not here to scare people. I'm just here to open people's minds, and it's really important.
Well, I have a question. If your past has been a challenge, and it's been a challenge, and they come to you looking forward to changing their future, is that doable?
Absolutely it is, because nothing, as they say, is set in stone, Freddie. we can change as long as we're aware of that. If we're going down a path that is leading to, quote, destruction, and we feel that because we know that, the more and more we go into that path, we don't have to take that path. We have different timelines, and I have to do a show on that. We can change and go into a timeline that will take us onto a different path. But the most important part of this is that we're aware that we have different timelines, that we can change our destiny of what we're seeing now. If it's destructive and we don't like it, just give that thought out and say, you know what, let's go on a different path. It works. We can.
So your
Timeline.
future doesn't have to be dictated by your past.
No, absolutely not. It does not.
No, it's funny that you brought up timelines again, because I had another incident that happened and it made me instantly think of you, because we were talking about it last week. But I was at work and I was serving a table and it was 3 people, 2 women and a gentleman. And I was in the kitchen, and our kitchen is open so you can see the floor. So I can see my table, and I noticed that the gentleman and one of the other ladies had gone up and they weren't at the table anymore. And then I was coming out of the kitchen, going up to the table, and then there's this pillar, and as soon as I went around the pillar, they were all at the table again, just sitting, as if not like they were sitting down, they were already just sitting there, and it was like the weirdest thing again.
Okay, it's opening up to the fact that you now, because you've listened to me about timelines, and it's very subtle, but that was actually, you had changed a timeline. It doesn't mean that they weren't there or they were there. Your timeline had changed, but because you're aware of it, the fact that you're even mentioning that, you see that today, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's
And it's
very
like,
subtle. It's very subtle. As I
Exactly.
said, it could be a tree in your path that is not there. It could be a building. It's very, very subtle. We'll
Yeah.
have to do a show on this.
we should, we
Yes,
definitely
yeah.
should. And I just like noticed like in the last few weeks, because we've like been getting to know each other the more that I've been here and stuff like
Sure.
that. So the more that, I'm here and I'm on your show and talking, I notice you pop into my head a lot more often than I would anticipate. And for example, like the other night I was driving to my friend's house and I was going to her house for the very first time. So I had my maps on and I was paying attention to my maps, but for some reason I decided to get off at the exit before I was supposed to. And it made me think, well, there's a reason that I wasn't supposed to get off at the original exit. It made me think of you, and I'm like, that's something Sally would say. Sally would be like, there's a reason that happened, that you weren't meant to go that way, whether that was avoiding a crash or something specific. And who knows, even if I had gotten there safely, it wouldn't have mattered. But still, like, I just think of you
That touches
often.
me. That really touches me because my message is getting to you. And that's so important. Thank you so much for mentioning that.
Yeah,
I
of
really
course.
does touch
Sally,
me.
I want to ask on that point, is part of what she does now is that she forwards what she's learning so that we can all learn from the same thing that she's learned?
Yes, absolutely. And the more that I can get feedback, maybe as you just said on these messages, it's what I'm meant to be doing. I'm not saying everybody will do what I'm doing, but I believe that this is what I'm meant to be doing, to just open people up that are ready. There are still many people that are not ready, and that's fine. I accepted that. At first I used to be like, why won't you want to listen? I'm giving you messages. But I do understand that we're all at different points in our journey. But for the ones that are meant to be here, this is not coincidence. For everybody that's here actually in the studio, I feel that my messages are for you, that you, especially a younger generation, which you guys are, to pass this and put it, continue with my message. I mean, I'm getting the latter part of my life, but my mission today, I feel, is to pass this on to younger people so that it doesn't stop just where I am at, and other people that are my age continue. And the fact that you're opening up at a younger age is great. It's amazing.
Hi, Sally.
Hi, Josh.
I was trying to think of a question to ask, but I don't know one. Am I always supposed to be thinking about something, or is it okay to turn, I can't turn my thoughts off because it's always constantly going up there, but what am I supposed to be thinking about?
That's a great question, and it's making me laugh. Okay, you are where you are, where you're meant to be, if that makes sense. So when you're thinking about something, and if it's something that's, you may think, well, what are people thinking that I'm thinking this? That's where you're meant to be. It doesn't matter if you suddenly come out with something outrageous. You're doing it for a reason, Josh, if that makes sense to you. So continue with who you are. I often say that sometimes I come out with some strange things. I recently got married. I'm sure that Steve sometimes thinks that I'm completely off the wall, but I have to be true to myself. So whatever is happening to you, or your thought process, or your dreams, if you feel that you want to voice it, voice it. It's important for you to understand that.
And is it okay to be thinking all the time?
Absolutely. We all are thinking all the time. Our mind, our brain is continual. It's good because we can, not to get too deep into this, but we can analyze a lot of what we're thinking. It's important. Write it down. Do a journal of what things are important to you. Write it down. I don't do necessarily what I always say, but it is very important to write down some of these things. I think you need to know that. I'm feeling that my message for you is that you are getting information. Please write it down. Anything that may not leave your mind, you'll say, oh, that came in. It's important because you are being given messages. Okay?
Awesome. Thank you, Sally.
Okay.
It's so crazy that you said that. I was just telling Freddie, whispering to him. I was like, in my head, like, journal, write it down. So
Perfect.
I'm so happy that you said that, because if not, I was going to tell him after the show, be like, this is my
It's
thought.
for you. It's for both of you. It's for the younger generation to pass this on. I'm not going to be here that much longer, okay? I still have a few years. But it's important that I spread this message to the younger generation too, because you are the ones that are going to continue with this.
Absolutely.
Isn't it vital that they can see that they're a grouping, all from different stages of life, all coming at once, and they each are feeding off one another, and it's getting bigger, and it's getting bigger, and it's getting bigger? Coincidence, or is this part of the plan?
No, it's not coincidence at all. I often think, is this coincidence? But I've had too much to tell me and validate that it's not coincidence. So we do feed off. I mean, again, I often say this should be another show. We are all actually connected. We don't, and it's hard even for me to understand that. But what I'm putting out is going to the people that we all get this information, but only a certain amount of us will understand what this, but they are the ones that need to continue with this and then pass it on and pass it on. So none of this is coincidental. It's all to do with vibrational energy. And if you think about it, this is going out into the airways, and this helps me too. How, if you'd gone back 100 or 150 years, I'm not sure I can say any number, that we are able to put this out into an airway. I mean, how does this happen? I'm only doing the same, but I'm hearing it from another dimension. I'm putting this energy out. This is so important for us to understand that. We all have the ability. We just don't know that we have the ability.
Do you think, something may sound weird, but do you think families can talk to each other telepathically somehow? Because I was watching A League of Their Own with my mom and little sister, and we're watching the movie. It's kind of silent because we're eating dinner at the same time while watching the movie, and it was the beginning of the movie. And in my head, I'm thinking, I wanted to ask this question to my mom and my little sister. In my head, I'm going, so when's Tom Hanks going to show up? Out of the blue, randomly, my mom goes, like, this is what she says. She goes, I don't know. I haven't seen this movie in a while. But I'm saying that into myself in my own thoughts. And then she just blurted that out, like, perfectly right after.
Yes, absolutely. Because we all are we contact each other. We just don't know that we're doing that. And sometimes when we get validations, as you did, it opens our mind up. What I'm talking about now, this could be going to someone in Africa. I don't know, but I know that my vibrational energy is going out. But we have to be in tune with that, because otherwise it's just a passing thing. Someone might have a dream. They'll say, oh, but we forget our dreams. this energy that I'm projecting is going out everywhere. It's like, if you think about it, and let's explain this very easily. There is a certain, like on the radio, AM, FM, whatever it is, that channel goes out, but not everybody's in tune with that. But they're able to be in tune if they just switch that knob. If we know about it, then we're in tune with it. So it's very important. It's very important what we think too, because that's going out. That's why I continue, and will always do on this show, to talk about try to be positive, because that positive energy spreads. Again, we are human and we're living here, and there's a lot of negativity, but just try to be positive. It's really important.
It's the likelihood of frequency.
It's frequency that's, yes, because a frequency attracts the same frequency. So if we're on a lower frequency, which I have talked about before, we're going to get lower frequency. If we lift that vibrational energy to a higher frequency, we're going to get, it's simple. We just got to know it. That's all.
So if we surround ourselves with higher frequency, we're going to be in tune with higher frequency.
Absolutely, and this is what I hope my message is getting out to people, because if you lift that vibrational energy, if you're having a bad day and you continue and say, oh, it's one of those days, or this is going to happen to me, we put out what will happen. So if we say, you know what, suddenly, and it happens to me too. I'm saying I'm not really in the zone. As you know, when I first said that, I'm on a much higher frequency now, and my frequency is attracting a higher frequency. I feel totally different than I did 20 minutes ago.
Do you feel it, or can you see something while just living? Because like for example, when I'm playing guitar or drums or anything, and I'm in it, like truly in it, I can feel that I'm in it. Is that supposed to be for everyday life too? Like, do you feel like you're on this certain correct path, I guess?
Perfect example, yes, because this happened to me. I didn't understand this. I knew it, but I didn't know that I knew it. So 18, 19 years ago, when I started to paint, I had, as everybody has, problems in life, and I was having problems, but I was painting and I was totally there. I was in a higher frequency, and suddenly, as I was painting, I'm getting, I would say, really good things happening to me. And I'm going, I don't have to be that depressed, because there's something else. There is more there. So the more you tune into it, it kind of accelerates it. So you get more and more good things happening to you. So don't disregard that. So when you think, well, I'm in a lower vibration, be aware of that. You can lift that vibration. You can do it in a second. Just say, I don't want any more of this. Let's make my life happy today. And it will happen if you believe that. You've got to believe it.
It's a great point that you brought up there, like getting out of a lower vibration, because the last like Saturday and Sunday at work, I came in with a positive attitude. It wouldn't like, and just I got into a funk, and for the 2 days I was in a funk, and no matter what I did or tried to get out of it, I mean, to the point that everyone else around me was like, are you okay? Like, you're not yourself, like you're off, like something's going on. And I'm like, nothing's going on. Like, I'm just, I can feel it. I don't know what it is. And I'm like, was trying to get out of it. I could feel that I wasn't myself. And like, I didn't know what to do. And like, what would you like suggest or say as to like how to get yourself out of that funk?
Okay, and I'm glad that you recognize that, because the first point of learning this is to have an idea what's happening to you, because if you don't know what's happening to you, how do you change something? The fact that you saw that and you understood what was happening to you, that was really important, because when you get into what you say is a funk and you say, okay, you're actually bringing in more of that negative vibration. May not even be a reason, but the fact that you mention that. So when that happens, and for anybody listening, say to yourself, today is not my best day. Let's change this. Let's have positive thoughts. And the same way that you were attracting everything at that point, you can start attracting from a higher vibration. The key to this is just to be aware that this is happening to you, which you are. And that was great that you saw that. So although it was a negative at that point, it really wasn't, because you understood, maybe from listening to me or whatever you might be doing, you know that that doesn't have to continue. Okay, and that's what's very important.
So it's okay to feel good.
It's okay to feel it, because that's how we learn, Freddie. If everything was from a higher, and I've talked about this, on a higher vibrational energy, how are we going to learn? So if we lower our vibration, and we see by changing our thought process that we can make this into a higher vibrational energy, and we see that happening, because it will happen if you believe it, then you say, you know, there has to be some truth into this, because we don't know this. I'm learning too, just like everybody else, but I know that I can change it, and that's the most important, to know you can change this.
And what would you say are your like top 3 practices for raising your, you know, vibration or your frequency, like to become on a higher plane? What would you say are your best practices?
Just know it. I mean, I meditate, although I don't actually even know that I'm doing that, I think, but just know that you can change it. The fact that you know that you're having a bad day. We know we're having a bad day, but that doesn't have to continue. So talk out loud, because the universe hears you. Just say, I'm sick of today. I want a good day from here on in. And be surprised. Don't wait. Just know it will happen. Believe that it will happen. And whatever is happening to you that's coming from a lower vibrational energy, if you voice it, and you do need to voice it out loud, I feel that they're telling me that. Just say, I'm fed up with today. I want it to be a good day. I want to go higher into my vibrational energy. Talk about it. It will happen. It will happen if you believe it. Okay, I think we're going to go to a commercial, so I will be back in a few minutes. Thank you. Okay, this world, this life, this illusion. What is going on, we ask? What is happening? Why not take time and see what is happening? This world as we know it, it seems so real, and yet so far away from where we've come. Corruption, greed, anger, power, revenge. Please wake up. We can change what is around us. How, we may ask? Learn to go back to where we were. Then we will have the clues. Then we can change and go forward. Please take the time. Do not fall into the game which we have put upon ourselves. We can change. We can make a difference. We have the power, each and every one of us. Go in peace. Go with love. Go as one. Zena.
A true story, Call Me Zena, is the telling of Sally Barnard. Born in London, England at the end of the Second World War, she came to the U.S. in 1979. A mother of 2 and grandmother of 4, she settled in Florida and worked in real estate. While going through a difficult time in her life, she was admitted into a hospital overnight in December of 2005. While settling back into her life, she began having vivid dreams and documenting them. By the 3rd dream, a lady gave her a message to draw. With no artistic background or interest in art or history, Sally listened to her dreams and grabbed paper and crayons. Today, she has over 150 pieces of inspiring art and poetry. This book follows her journey and interpretations of these messages. She describes in detail how she's able to astral project and who she has met along her travels, including her spirit guides. This book will show you how anything is possible with an open mind. These events have changed Sally's life's direction, and this book will show you how to change yours. Purchase Call Me Zena on Amazon today.
You have been watching Call Me Zena with your host, Sally Barnard. As an artist, author, and spiritual experiencer, know that you could always seek me out for resources. Visit artbysallybarnard.com today. Now, back to the show. Hi. Okay, questions in the studio, please. Anybody here? Give me a question.
Sally, you ever run into someone ask you a question that you did not have an answer to, and when you do that, how do you answer it?
Actually, for some reason, that hasn't happened to me that often. It doesn't mean that I'm fantastic and I can answer every question, but some reason my guides are with me and they basically can answer. I can't. If you asked me this and I wasn't in what I call now a certain type of zone, trance, I may not be able to answer it. But once I'm there, I'm pretty well given the answers, no matter what the question is. Because I mean, I've kind of proved that to myself, because I come on this show, as you know, I don't want to know any of the questions. I don't want to know about the people that are asking me. That's because in case I have a message, I want it, it's more real for me not to know. So far, I've been pretty accurate in what I answer. I'm not here to say, oh, I'm great, I'm fantastic, but I am being led by my guides. So they want me to give this and continue with the messages.
And people that don't have a clear view to what their future holds, and they ask you a lot of questions and they question themselves, is having that thought about yourself, having that gut feel about yourself, is that vital to be in the right frequency?
It's important, because I think knowing this is very important. So if you feel, as I had said earlier, that you feel that you're not, say, having a good day, or you want a different outcome in what's going on in your life, it's really important to voice that. You don't have to necessarily say it in front of a lot of people. Stand in front of a mirror and talk to yourself, but voice that. I truly believe with everything that I talk about that this works, because you aren't talking to yourself. You're talking to other people that are here to guide you, and they need to know. They can guide you, but just like here, they need to know what's going wrong. Where do they need to help you? So whilst I do believe that they can read your mind up to a point, but it's still very good for you to voice what's going on. Just saying, I don't like the way that this is going. Or let's say you're going for a job interview. I want this interview to go the way that I want it. Please help me with this. Now it's up to you to listen to what you're hearing. I mean, it's difficult because it's not difficult. But if you're aware of it, it's not difficult. But you will hear the answers telepathically. Everybody can do this. I really want to tell you that you can. We block ourselves. We are our worst enemy by doing this. Just know what I'm saying is real. Believe that, and then you will hear your answers.
You trust what you hear?
I would say 98%. Just like here, there are people, and I had mentioned this before, that will play games to you. But you know what? If it really sounds like, even here, if I ask someone for advice and they give me advice and I'm going, this doesn't sound completely accurate, go with your gut with that too, because there are mischievous people. I'm not saying they're out to hurt you, but you know what? They'll give you false information sometimes. Mainly with what I listen to is accurate, but I do believe that my guide Aldo is helping me here.
But isn't that an answer? If they give you false information and you feel it's false, and the opposite is the correct answer.
Yeah, but we go with our gut too. We have to turn this internally, Freddie. I'm sorry, I thought you called you Frank.
Correct, but if they're giving you information that you know in your heart isn't correct.
Okay, you know what? You start again. Just say, I need to clear this, as I did when I first came here, when I sat down. I said, you know what? I'm not feeling where I should be. It's a feeling. It's so hard to explain, but it's a feeling. I feel completely, if we want to say, in the zone right now. I even mentioned that to you. I said, I don't feel completely in the zone. So I meditate, but it's hard for me to explain how I meditate, because even though now I'm in a trance, I begin to feel what feels, the word is comfortable, what feels comfortable with you. If it feels off, and it's not always because we might not be completely in tune, but if you feel off, let's start again. Ask the question again. If you keep continuing to get the answer that does not ring true to you, because we are true to ourselves, if it doesn't ring true to you, then you know what? At that point, change the question or start something else, because maybe somebody, an entity has interfered with that. I haven't had that very often to me, so I don't talk too much about it. But can it happen? Yes, it can.
Sally, if we have someone close to us and we don't feel comfortable around them, or they like to play mind games on a certain person, should we confront them, or just if they mess with us too much, just let them go their own way?
The latter. I would say let them go your own way, because their own way, because it's hard to, if you feel uncomfortable, or if there's a situation that you're not feeling comfortable with, it's up to us to kind of take that in. So if you just walk away, I mean, whatever, it's not always easy, but you can stay in that situation, but just don't take it to your heart. In other words, whatever they're saying, it's a game. We're all playing a game. That's the way that I see it. So if something is feeling uncomfortable, go with the fact that it is uncomfortable, and it's up to you how you actually go about that situation.
What if it's just like a close family member?
Okay.
Same thing.
Same
They're
thing.
like, oh.
I've had it happen to me without mentioning any particular names. If I have not felt comfortable with a close family member, sometimes it's hard to maybe exit from that situation, but just stay there, go along with their game, but just know that it's a game, okay? Know that it's a game. There are people here that are just like anywhere else. There's good entities, and I'm not going to say, there's a balance. Stay with that balance,
Okay. All right. Thank you, Sally.
Sally, can people have blockages from their childhood?
Can they have blockages from their childhood? Yes, they can. Can we change that? Yes, we can. So if you feel that something that happened in your childhood that is blocking you in this particular, as you grow older, know you can change that. We have the ability to do so much. But the main thing is that we have to be aware that we can change it. Because what may have happened many years ago, why do you want, and I've talked about this before, you don't necessarily want to bring it into your present situation. So know that you can change that. You can change that. You can.
How do you release that? Because sometimes it blocks people from moving forward.
Just know that you can, and that's really important. And I talk about that a lot. Just know that you have the ability to release it. Even if you, the most important is to voice it, because I believe that that's how they know to help us. Although we talk telepathically, just say, I don't want this situation anymore. Get rid of it.
Sally, people use words as a tendency to kick off triggers or to say things that they know bother you. And they do it for a number of reasons. So if somebody comes at you with that kind of format, how do you overcome that? How do you bypass that? What do you do to protect your thoughts and yourself against?
Well, I guess what you're saying to me is like they push your buttons, so they know, correct?
They'll say things that they know that bother you. They say things that they know will trigger something that bothers you.
Okay, they have an agenda. Usually when this happens, they have an agenda to push your buttons, as I would say. You don't have to listen to that. Change your thought process. Walk away from that situation. Please walk away from it, because if you do that, you're changing your own vibrational energy. If you walk away from that, and I have done this, and you go to say, you're in a, let's say in a meeting, or you're in a room with a lot of people, you change your direction and go to someone else, you'll find that you're changing your thought, you're changing the thought process. Excuse me.
But then the challenge here is, are you ever going to learn from it to move on from it?
Yes, because if you're aware of what's happening, you're learning already, because you're aware that you can change that situation. You don't have to listen to that. You don't have to continue with the, let's say, because it's usually a lower vibrational energy, right? If they're doing that and they're criticizing, no, you can change that. As long as you know that, you can. If you don't know that and you continue with that, it's going to continue.
But there's an old saying of flight or fight. So do you run away from it, or do you stand up for yourself and fight it?
That's up to us. Every situation is a little different. If you feel that it's really bothering you, stand up, be true to yourself. You have the answers, Freddie. So if you feel that this is continuing and it's something that's ongoing, you can say what you feel about it. You don't have to continue. You could still walk away. Sometimes you need to voice it. It's very important to voice it. And what they do with it is up to them too. Does that make sense? That's my guide saying that.
Best offense is a good defense. I get it.
It is, but then again, you don't have to not attack it. Sometimes it's important because if it keeps coming up, and it may not just be with that one particular person, somebody else is doing the same thing to you, you need to attack that.
But it's
You need to
hitting
neutralize
the
it.
same old wound. In other words, if a multiple of people are saying or doing the same thing over and over again, then it's something that you yourself, you're going to have to overcome to fix, because
Yes, you do.
otherwise you're going to run into a problem down the line.
Yes, and the word that's coming to me is that they're telling you to neutralize it for some reason. You have to do that, okay? So if it keeps coming, not from just one particular source, from another to another, it's something that you should be aware of. That I'm not going to say this is accurate. You need to be aware of it. But at this point, if it's bothering you, you neutralize it. And then you'll find eventually, look at it, examine it, and then walk away from it, if that makes sense. Important. It's important to know what's going on. It's very important to know what's going on. We get messages from other people. We may not always like them, but if it's continuing, there may be a reason.
Well, how is it more important? I don't want to say is it more important. Being in nature versus socializing yourself with groups of people. Are
I
they
like
both?
that.
Are they both as powerful?
They're both as powerful. It's where you are. Sometimes, even for me, I was in sales for many years and I was in a big room with a lot of people talking. When I started to feel this and I got the energy, I knew, although I was pretty successful in sales, that I had to walk away from that situation. And actually, what I was doing, and I was lucky enough to be able to do this, I took people on tours, which was basically in parks. The moment I got out of that situation with a lot of people talking and I went into a park and I just had that particular couple that I was talking to, I changed. So again, there's that balance. But if you're aware of it, I knew, and shortly after that, I couldn't stay in that situation. But that was me, okay? So I gave up what I've been doing for 25 years because it was too much vibrational energy. But I was able to escape that a little bit by taking people on a tour.
Okay. Yeah. Well, and then I find myself like in talking about groups of people again. When it's like a big group of people, I'm not good. When it's one-on-one, I'm not good. But when it's like a group, like you were talking about 5, 6 people, that's where I really excel because I get to pick off different energies from specific people.
And that's a very good example, Josh, because you're feeding on the people that are on that energy with you. So maybe if it's one person, that person may not be on the same energy that you are. If it's a group of people, a very big group of people, it's hard to distinguish that. But actually a group of 4 or 5 people is that's good, because there may be 1 or 2 people in that group that if you're focused in on that, you can feel their energy. So you know that you're in communication with, I'm not going to say the right people, but it's up to us to kind of determine whether it's the right, but on the same energy.
So that's why you go in like, I don't know, like going back to high school or going back to college or even in everyday life, you see these groups of people and they all dress the same, they all act the same. Is it because they all just have that same wave of frequency?
That's a very good example, yes, because we tend to follow what other people do. You know, very often, and I've been heard, it's said of myself, I'm out of the box. And that's a very good saying because I don't conform necessarily to, and I never did, even though I didn't know that I could do this. When I was in school, I used to say, I'm a nonconformist. I didn't even understand what it meant, but today I do. So I wasn't conforming to what everybody else was doing. Now, I say everybody, there might be 3 or 4 people in a group of people that are on the same energy as you. But if you're aware of it, you can sense that energy. So I would gravitate to the people that you feel more comfortable with.
But that's the thing, like you were talking about, there's like, say, the band geeks, there's the nerds, there's the jocks, there's the athletes, whatever you want to call them. I want to go hang out with the music nerds for a little bit, just talk about music for a little bit. And then when I'm done with them, I want to go to the nerds and talk about video games or talk about Marvel and all that, and then go to the jocks and just play sports with them.
Continue what you're doing. I feel that you totally, although you're not completely aware of what you understand, Josh, and I said that to you right from the start, you are in tune with this, and it's really important because I can feel that. I mean, could I be wrong? Maybe, but I feel that you know that. So go with your gut. If you feel that you want to talk about something at a particular time to a certain group of people, then go with that. And then you feel that you've done that and you need to go to another group, go with your intuition. You have it.
Like I said, like you said, I do feel in tune. I feel like I've always walked my path that it's supposed to be. I've just never been confident with it.
Well, I'm here to help you with that. I really mean that, and I feel that your intuition is accurate. But you yourself you judge your own intuition. Yeah. But if you feel comfortable with that, as much as I can help you, because I want to help younger people to pass this message on, go with what you feel comfortable. If you feel that there's a group over there that you're going, I don't know, I can't really relate, maybe not the time to relate, maybe you will later on. Go with what you feel comfortable with. That will not lead you into the wrong direction. I give you my word on that from what I understand. Go with your gut. It's really important.
Awesome. Thank you, Sally.
Baxter has a question? Yes.
Hi, Baxter. That's nice. I'm glad to hear you're asking me a question.
So what advice would you give to somebody if they feel like they're living life but in reverse?
In reverse? Can you elaborate a little bit more on that?
Kind of like day continues to go by and you don't really feel like you're accomplishing anything. You just kind of feel like you're coasting a bit.
Okay, then I think it's your wake-up call to, since you feel that sometimes, then go into a slightly, I don't have to change the direction completely, but if you're at that point that you feel that you're not going anywhere with a certain situation, you have the power to change that or bring somebody else into that situation that you will benefit more and you'll feel more comfortable. And if that helps you a little bit, but be aware of that. The fact that you're feeling that is meaning that you are aware of what's going on. And that's very good that you feel that.
Thank you.
Wow. Do you ever think that maybe, Sally, your message is to help the millennial or the younger generation?
I do. I'm learning that more and more because as I'm aging, I'm feeling I need to, I'll have these videos or whatever, they could go into my recordings, but I feel that it's really important for the younger generation to understand and feel something. I'm here to help you guys. I'm a lot older. I've learned a lot over the years. I didn't get anybody to help me at a younger age, but I feel that I was struggling and I had to find out a lot by myself, but I was lucky enough in my 60s to find somebody that was here to help me, that had been looking for me. So if I can pass this on to people, please ask me questions. Go with the younger generation, talk to them. If you feel that I have one more minute to actually talk about this. I love the fact that you guys over there are younger. I love the fact that Dawn and Freddie, who are still younger than me, are asking me questions. So please just open up to the possibilities there are. So it really doesn't matter what age you are, but the younger you are, you have more chance to pass this on. Okay, thank you.
I got one quick question, Sally.
Okay.
Is it okay if the only two people that I trust in are myself and the universe?
Perfect. That's all right.
Okay.
Don't lose the trust, though.
Okay.
Just always keep that trust. That's fine.
Okay.
That's fine.
All right,
That's
sweet.
good.
That's
Thank
all.
you. Okay. Please tune in next Monday. Thank you. Okay. Coincidence or not, it's time to trust your intuition and knowings. Thank you for joining me through this journey of self-discovery and awakening with the help of my spirit guides. I'm Sally Barnard, and you can find my book, artwork, and contact through artbysallybernard.com. Join us next week. This has been Call Me Zena.